I have a question. Many Hindus believe that Buddha is the ninth avatar, so he's actually a Hindu, but the Buddhists disagree. So, what is your view on that?
This is what a lovely question, because see, people don't realize the Hindus talk of the Das avatar, and the seventh and eighth are very famous, Ram and Krishna. In the ninth avatar, we somehow kind of ignore him, poor chap. It's not fair. The Hindus say the ninth avatar is Buddha, this great master, person perhaps most compassionate human being who ever walked on this earth. Buddha. That's what they say, my ninth avatar of Vishnu is Buddha. So Hindus say we love Buddha. He's one of the Vishnu's avatars. And the Buddhists note, they say, please leave us alone. You want to capture my Buddha, our Buddha, leave him alone. Because when the Buddha was asked himself, do you believe in God? He had no answer. So he's called an agnostic, Agneyavadi. So he doesn't say there's a God. So he's saying, I'm not God, I don't have to refer to a God, and you are calling him God. The poor chap is saying, he's running away from you. You say, no, you must grab him. He's saying, leave me alone. So the Buddhist philosophy does not agree that Buddha is the ninth avatar of the Hindus. The Hindus say, no, what is going on? I tell you the politics behind it. Hinduism has always been an inclusivist religion. So Buddha, you can see in reality, is really a reformer within Hinduism. He brought about a reform movement within Hinduism, and he put all the gods and goddesses on the back burner. He said they're crowding the scene. He said, I just deal with the human issue, human suffering, and resolve the human suffering. That is the new religion, if you like, and it's called Buddhism, becoming enlightened. No gods, no goddesses, no temples, no rituals. Just become enlightened. He doesn't say bow down to Buddha, he said become a Buddha, become enlightened like me. So here is a new prescription, if you like, a reform movement. Buddha was a Hindu himself. A reform movement within Hinduism that is now discarding the concept of God, or doesn't refer to a God. There's no need for a God. It's right out of Hinduism, a reform movement. So here is a movement that sprang out of Hinduism, and yet it has distanced itself, saying we don't agree with this kind of pantheon of Hindu gods and goddesses. So how do Hindus resolve? Hindus are very clever, very crafty. They say he's just being shy. He's just being modest. He's actually Vishnu. So by saying that he is actually Vishnu, but he doesn't want to acknowledge it because he's such a modest chap. But he's actually Vishnu. So this is the way the Hindu, look at the difference between, say, Abrahamic tradition. Christ was a reformer in the Jewish movement. And the Jews pushed him out, saying that he is not a Jew at all, not a proper Jew at all. So he was cast out of Judaism. So Christ was a Jewish, personality, came out of Judaism, was then cast out of Judaism, was pushed out. And that started a new religion called Christianity. So there has always been this tension between Christianity and Judaism. Because Jews don't recognize Christ as a Jew anymore. He's saying, you're outcast. In the Hindu tradition, look at the difference. Buddha has started a reform movement within Hinduism, but instead of saying he's outcast, we say, no, he's part of us. He's the ninth avatar that we're missing. So they are actually grabbing him. Even though perhaps he didn't want to be grabbed, they are grabbing him and saying he's part of the pantheon of Hinduism. So it's a very kind of nice political gesture, but it shows the openness and the inclusive nature of the Hindus. We like to be inclusivist. So even if there's a movement look, there's a lovely story. Suppose you have a son, and the son is a rebellious son. We all families have sons who are rebellious. They tell you, the mother, I'm not your son. Taro dikro nathi. The maa ke hase, dikra tumharo dikro nathi. They smile. In the same way, in the Buddhists say, we are not Hindus. The Hindus say, yeah, we know. You are the rebellious child of Hinduism, but you will say you are not Hindu. We say, okay. We pat you like, okay, you are not Hindu. Oh, lovely. But we recognize you as one of us. This is the inclusive nature of Hinduism. It's a marvelous nature. It's always includes people, doesn't exclude them. It's always been inclusivist, always broad, vast in his thinking, deep in his kind of performance. And yet, let me warn the Hindus. Because the Hindus themselves are not able to appreciate the marvelous thing they possess, they're not using Hinduism in the right way. They're using Hinduism in the wrong way. Doing the wrong thing in the name of religion. So it's the Hindus who have to rediscover Hinduism. Because sometimes people tell me, Mr. Lakhani, are you here to convert the Christians into Hinduism or teach Christians how to become Hindus? I say, no, I'm trying to teach Hindus how to become Hindus. My main task is the Hindus, the Hindu population, to make them true Hindus. That is the work I do in the name of my mentor, Swami Vivekananda. Thank you.